But I do recognize that boat behind me right there. There's got to be somebody in here. He's asleep. It's Wes Rose. He's in there asleep. Wes Rose is in there asleep on the couch, man.
Damn. You caught me slipping.
Yeah. You went out and a 46 was pulled over the rail of the Sea Ark that night.
It was.
Yep.
And how big was y'all's? Y'all's was what? 38 or 40?
We didn't weigh it. I do legit believe it was a 30 plus fish, but yeah, we didn't weigh it. We just caught it, took a few quick video, and let her go.
Well, y'all was all happy. Y'all heard us hollering and screaming. You didn't have a clue, did you?
Man, we thought we done kicked y'all's tail, man. We pulled up and Alan picked up that big old giant 46 pounder. And I was like, oh my God.
Alan had his wife on the phone while the fish was still flopping in the floor of the boat.
Wow. Yeah, he was stoked, man.
What's going on, Pete?
So me and
Just
Pete
another
was
day.
talking earlier, Wes, and you and I were talking earlier too. Like, and I don't know. Like, what's the deal with these cedar plugs, and why are they so good at catching fish?
My question was, and especially, everybody knows I'm just getting started in this, but all I've seen is I know really honestly 40 different colors, anything from chartreuse to black to white to red and green to blue and brown. And everybody talks about this plug, this trolling lure, from what I'm understanding, is probably one of the best things to have in your arsenal. But what makes it so great? Because it looks like balsa wood with a silver tip on it.
Yeah.
Is it the action? Is it the
I think it's the action, the way it skips and bounces and zigzag on top of the water with every wave you hit and every turn you make and everything.
I guess it's that big, heavy. I wonder what is that metal head made out of? Is that lead? I guess it's probably got something.
Stainless.
Yeah, it's lead.
Is it lead or stainless?
It's lead.
Well, lead all shined up can look like because they do get darker the older they get. So that makes sense.
One thing is pretty heavy.
They got all.
JR, y'all were talking about? A lot of people don't like it because the way it rigs here. So a lot of people, I think they'll slide it out a little bit and kind of let the hook. Is that right, Pete? Let the hook hang loose right behind it?
Not necessarily. I mean, yes, you can rig something in there to make it slide a little bit, but one thing I like to do is bend the hook out just a touch, not much. You will miss a lot of fish on those just because of the way that balsa wood slides over the hook. So you get the hit and then you get the dang drag scream and that's it. Now, the good thing about it, though, is you get that hit, you ain't got to worry about bringing it in from way back because you know that thing is still running good.
So how would you do that? Would you run the hook out to where the leader comes out, or do you just?
It varies.
Right about there, where you got it, maybe even a little closer to the shank.
Now, how do you do that? Do you put a crimp in there or something, or
you can put a crimp? You can try to figure out a way to put a crimp and some beads, maybe.
All right.
That's what we used to do.
Because I think what they were talking about was if this part of the hook, correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, and that fish gets that hook, say that far in his mouth, when you're pulling on it, this is actually serving as a pry bar almost, and it works it. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
That sounds right. I mean, you're demonstrating it perfectly.
Hey, I've got a good teacher.
Who's your teacher? The whole truth?
The whole truth and Peter Malick.
Hey, there's a lot of good stuff on the whole truth.
There is.
I hadn't been on there in a minute, but I remember back in the day, man, I stayed on there.
You can buy some good stuff on there too now. I'm pretty sure it's
where your. Do they have a Facebook group?
From.
Do they have a Facebook group? If they don't, they should.
I don't think so. There's just so many companies on that site.
But you know, it's salt and fresh water. It's probably one of the most unbiased websites out there, isn't it, as far as fishing goes?
Man, I'll tell you what, you say something on there and some of them guys will jump on you like anywhere else, like all your Facebook
Oh
fans.
yeah, yeah. They're kind of like the chain gang. You know?
Oh yeah.
Nothing. They'll give you the business in a minute now.
That's right.
You better not don't say nothing too bad. Don't post nothing about no darn trophy on there.
But you know, a lot of people there again, they like to do that on the internet. But if you meet them in person, they're like little mice.
Mm-hmm.
Keyboard Rambos. So Pete, you're going out tomorrow, right?
That's right.
Where are you going out of?
So we're going out of Southport in my boat this time for real. Me and 3 friends, some of which you actually may know. But yeah, no. So we're going to go out there. We're not going to go quite to the stream because we don't think it's necessary right now. I'm just not certain how it's going to look out there after this little tropical system moved up the coast. You know, water might be stirred up. I'm seeing good stuff on my screen satellite shots here, but
Catfish.
again, yeah, it might be good, it might not. But what we really want to do is do a little bit of bottom fishing. So we're going to troll a little bit, and then I got some places about 40, 45 miles out that will drop down for some grouper snapper. And so, you know, I keep a log of everything I do. And the spot where we bottom fish at, usually this time of year, it's always late May up into mid-June. We do very well with mahi there as well. So hopefully we got a couple good ones coming through there. It's that time of year now they scatter out anyway, so they should be pushing in towards the tower and even inshore from there too. So,
You ever thought about running outriggers on your boat?
yes, and that is on my list of things to do at some point. It's not cheap. I got quoted about $4.5K to do it, and I'm like, yeah, let me hold off on that for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you could always do the poor man outrigger.
Why are they so expensive?
Because you got drill holes and the actual equipment and labor now is like $100 and some odd dollars per hour. You know, I mean, my goodness. Yeah, I'm not complaining about it. They do a great job and all, but still, you know, I remember many years ago when labor was like $60 and now it's $75 and $90, and now they've gone up to $110. So, yeah, it's up there now.
And there's no way to do that any cheaper or do something like redneckish or.
Well, you're out there 40, 50 miles. You want to make sure it's done right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could do it with some 14-foot surf rods.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I see a guy make some homemade ones. I was fixing to say out of a 14-foot surf rod.
Yeah. I have a 14-foot surf rod hanging off the side of my nice boat. I'm gonna make sure I'm trolling away from the fleet so I don't get seen.
So there again, are you worried about catching fish, or are you worried about what somebody might think about you?
Yeah, I don't mind. I really don't care what anyone thinks about me, to be quite honest. I mean, hell, I got lovers and haters out there, so you know it goes both ways. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah, that would be funny though. That would be funny to try that.
If I thought it would help me catch a fish, don't think I'd put a trailer park look on my boat.
I know, right?
The Jed Clampett. Heck yeah,
that's right.
My first boat was a 19-foot bow rider. It was a 1989 Maverick. I don't know if you've ever heard of Maverick, but hey, I should have held on to it because I just watched Top Gun 2.
No,
I'm just now putting those two together. Wow, I had a boat called a Maverick. Yeah.
So kind of random story here, but
it was a random story. Yeah, I kind of connected to Top Gun.
My sim partner from my very first airline, his first name was Maverick.
Wow, what a cool name, man. You know, and he's really living it up right now since Top Gun is probably #1 at the box office. You know, so Maverick's the name to have right now.
Yeah, exactly.
What's his real name in that movie? Pete.
Yep.
Pete Maverick Mitchell.
Yep. There you go.
What a great movie! I went and saw it. Oh my god!
God, it's so good. Yeah.
Man, I'm thinking it's like that might be the best movie I've ever seen. It might be the
best
action movie I've ever seen.
I agree.
Everybody's talking about it so far like it was just awesome.
Man, I've been trying to get my daughter to watch part 1, and I was never able to get her into it. She's 15, getting ready to be 16, girl. You know, so a 1986 action movie about fighter jets is not on her priority list. So, but anyways, I told her that I was going to go see it, and she was like, yeah, whatever. She wasn't interested. But then I told her I was going to go to AMC at North Lake. And you could tell she kind of perked up a little bit. And I picked her up from church the next night, and she's like, "Hey, are you still going to go to the movies?" And actually, I changed my mind. I was tired. It was like 8:30 at night. I had to work in the morning. I was like, "No, I'm not going to go tonight, babe." And she was like, "Well, me and Kinsley, her friend, was talking about we might go if you decide to go to the one that has the seats that shake and everything." And I was like, "Okay." So I looked at the times. I had an 8:45 showing, so we took off and we saw the 8:45 and Dolby Digital. Yeah, Dolby Digital surround, and the freaking seats shake. They recline. It's big leather. Oh man, it's so nice.
I'll tell you one thing that a lot of the average person will not know watching that movie is this one right here. Actually, I will say, as a pilot, of course, we kind of sort of judge what we see, but it was so damn realistic as far as like things that happen, like checklist. The engine failure. First thing you do is fire up APU and this and that, and that's actually real world stuff that we do on the line as well. So.
Wow, Peter, you should make a video of that. Real pilot response, or what do you call those? React videos or whatever to Top Gun 2.
I was watching it. The chick was like, "All right, the folks that hadn't seen it, you might give it away here, but they're like, all right, APU, this, air, continuous ignition." I'm like, all right, that's real life stuff. That's actually what we do for real. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Peter, I'm going to have to introduce you to my buddy, J.C. Crowder. J.C.'s a young guy. He's a pilot. He's in the National Guard. And I think now, and I could be wrong, I don't know if he's watching. I can't see the comments. But JC does a lot of electronic stuff in airplanes. He rebuilds the dashes, installs new electronic stuff on them, and he loves to fly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, JC Crowder's actually, he's like you. He's pretty smart. You wouldn't think so. He don't really brag a lot about it, but he's very intelligent.
Oh,
Garmin.
I could tell he's definitely smart. Yeah, he's a jackass, but he's a smart guy. I mean, you kind of have to be smart to be able to fly a plane. You got to be a pretty smart guy to be able to do that. So,
well, he was cool until he got on the chain gang, just like Chris Brown. Chris Brown used to be okay, and then they get on that chain gang for a couple of weeks, and they think they got to be a smart ass about every goddamn thing they say on Facebook.
Yeah,
but that's just
the truth. That's the truth.
That's just some people's just got a little bit of idiocy in their fucking DNA, and they just can't help it. It just comes out now all the time instead of just on the chain gang. So you just got to overlook it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get on that shit.
I know they were talking last night. The Catfish Weekly had Dieter and Keith Robinson on their show talking about.
Yeah, what would that go? How did that go?
Well, Dieter had made a little promo video, promoting it, saying that it was going to be controversial and to be ready. It's going to be a good one. And it's going to be controversial. It's going to make some people mad. What? I mean, like literally all they talked about was like how to be successful on YouTube. They were talking about watch time and making quality content and like how to store your footage and just basic ABC's YouTube stuff. Like what is so controversial about that?
It takes a special breed to do YouTube videos. Like I fish a lot, or at least I used to fish a lot more than I have here in the last several years because I'm more focused with the real job. But I thought about the whole YouTube thing and freaking cameras, this and that. But I just personally don't have the patience or the willpower to learn to edit these videos. Like I know it takes a lot of time editing, and that's just time I don't like wasted or I don't have to do. So
right.
It takes a special breed to actually do that.
YouTube
actually had a lot of time.
It's a long haul, but if you're willing to put the time and effort into it, it can be very rewarding. My friend, he's a YouTuber and he's making about as much as I'm making at my job now on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Well, David, how did y'all see David today? Catfish Dave. I don't know if you know him or not.
No, he blocked me.
There's he's got a lot of drama going on now. Somebody did a video using his footage. I kind of watched a little bit of that today. I'm not sure exactly what they did to him, but he got pretty mad. And then he said, he was basically saying, a lot of and he said, not saying nothing against Matt Knight, with Mad Cats. But he said, he just don't understand why Matt and Catch the Fever and them or all these big rod companies are just using basically just little punk boy idiots that like to get on there and badmouth everybody else. And they claim to be pro staff and they claim to be this and they claim to be that. And then they'll actually take footage of other people's stuff, put it on YouTube and Facebook, and take other people's pictures of fish that other people caught that was claimed they caught them with them, and Dave caught them and stuff like that. You know, that's kind of what I took from it.
David Hausman was saying that.
Oh yeah, he was on a roll today.
Well, is he on the roll today? I might have to go check it out.
Y'all got more drama than the striper world ever had. I thought
Dang.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a
Well, you know,
fact.
we're bigger. We're bigger than the striper world. So,
y'all ain't bigger than the salt world though.
of course, there's going to be more drama. No, you're right. Definitely. You're totally right about that. We are nowhere close to that.
Pete, let me ask you a question. Since you've been saltwater fishing,
Yeah.
well, what is it? A lot of drama in that shit down there, like it is.
You know, so it was kind of funny because you're talking about that moments ago, and it's kind of brought back memories of things that happened in the past, not by me, but things I've seen. Like there was a popular guy from around here that I think JR might know, which I'm not going to bring up any names. But years ago, he used someone else's photos in a report, and he absolutely got blasted. This is like before Facebook was a thing to do, you know. I'm talking about like 10 years ago. And yeah, they absolutely hammered him. So, you know, you do something like that, of course you can get drama. But overall, no, not at all. The only time I really do see significant drama in the saltwater world is before a king tournament. That's really about it. And to be quite frank, these king tournaments, like these guys will actually work with you. Like they'll help you out.
Yeah.
But a couple rules. Number one, like they're shut mouth about bait. Like that's the only thing. Guys will then make you run up and down the beach. If bait is scarce, they'll send you somewhere else, you know. So you gotta have a very good network, which I have a unbelievable network down at Oak Island. I got like dang a dozen folks I can count on anytime. And it's like this, like anything else, you know. I have a great network in Lake Norman and surrounding areas that we talk about a few various things. But once, you know, you guys have been fishing for a while and you know when you're fed bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
The moment someone feeds you bullshit, they're done. And that's one thing you do not do at the beach. If you feed someone bullshit and you're caught out on it, you are done from the click. Like they will not even go out the way to help you at all. And so, like, you know, Lake
there
Norman,
are some good guys down there. You know, first couple of years of kingfished out of Southport, you know, in November, the kings come in and we'd go out there and we'd try to catch them pogies off the beach, you know, like everybody does. And I was having trouble catching them. And, yeah, there was always somebody that was willing to give me some because, you know, there were one net throw. And if you got on them right and you had way more than you could use.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those guys will give you bait. Yeah, they'll help you all they can.
Yeah. And Wes, one thing that you're going to learn, by the way, down there, if you're on the radio, is you got to know the area. Because if you jump on the radio and you say, hey, has anyone seen the pogies? And guys will say, down by the water tower or down by the second pier or the big hill or the hot hole or Hog Inlet. So if you're not familiar, you won't know where the fuck they're talking about at all.
Yeah.
So you got to be familiar with what they're talking about in order to find the bait sometimes.
I just followed the boats.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a special skill to find pogies early in the morning, which I actually I like to think that I do a lot better than most as far as finding them.
Yeah, I'm like, how are those guys catching those things? I mean, you know, when you first get out there, you know, you think to yourself, okay, they're just throwing on the flip. They're just throwing on the flip. You know, then you'll find yourself at the bow of the boat, you know, trolling around for an hour trying to throw on the flip.
The secret is early in the morning before they start flipping, you find the
it's going to be on here for probably another.
You'll find a slick before you see the flip.
Okay.
So, like, you know, early they're down deep, and they won't start flipping until you get that sun that comes up over the horizon there. But as you roll out there, you see a couple slicks in the water. You can sometimes smell them before you can actually see them, you know. And so you see like a big old slick in the water. You're like, all right, there's some bait right here. So you just kind of idle up and just kind of idle around and see if you can mark where, you know. So you find that slick, and you have that slick that you know, kind of like a you know, it's kind of like a little area that, for the most part, you can use as reference. What I'm trying to say. So, like, you got that slick, and then maybe just inside the slick, that's where the pile of bait is, or on the offshore side, the inshore side. You know, so you kind of sort of use that as reference to find the bait.
That's cool. That's good information right there.
Daniel Rush wants to know: has anybody ever tried any blueback herring in the saltwater?
I talked about it a lot back in the day, but I don't think I ever tried it.
Is that an airplane out here?
No, that's the fan of my dang laptop.
That's the CPU fan.
Yeah.
I imagine they would work, you know. I mean, because you're salting the herring to, you know, to treat them to what you call it.
Now, those herring, are they typically, dumb question here, are they a saltwater bait that just lives in fresh water? They smell like a saltwater bait to me. Have you ever noticed how saltwater bait, especially like skipjack herring, they just got a smell like saltwater bait? I mean, it's kind of.
Initially, I would want to say no, but I mean, they love the salt because, you know, we salt them.
Well, as let's say, don't you dang live bait warriors dump a dang shit ton of salt in your bait tanks? You know.
Well, I know they do that for gizzard shad, you know, to keep them from getting red nosed. But I mostly, you know, my big thing was trout. That's 99% of what I fished with was trout. So I never really had to run salt in water, you know, and I probably should have learned how to throw a net a couple of years ago, but I always said, fuck it, I'll work. I'll buy bait. I'm not going out there trying to roll around and throw a damn net 25 times to get some bait when I can pay.
Well, you know, if you find you do need to have a net, because sometimes you don't even need to have to even really know how to throw a net to catch bait, because the bait will be so thick, you know, out there when you're saltwater fishing, especially certain times of the year, like near shore, you will come across bait pods that'll you can literally just dip net them. They're just so thick. So you can throw tacos and burritos.
When me and Scott was down there the other night, a week before last, we were out, I think, probably 35 miles. We were at the Betsy Ross Reef, and I'm sure you're familiar with that, Pete.
I am not down your way, not at all. It's like from the Little River, let's say from Myrtle Beach on south, or actually that'd be west from there. I'm not terribly familiar with that area, but like from Myrtle Beach on up towards Wrightsville, Carolina Beach, I can tell you anything and everything out there.
Well, anyway, Scott, I told Scott, I said, look, and we looked, and literally, it's just like all of a sudden the water was, you know, you just kind of wavy, and it looked like maybe a half a fucking acre of nothing but bait, and it was, you couldn't see it. It never did come out of the water. It's just flickering everywhere. So of course we tried to turn the boat around and try to run our bait, but by the time we got the boat, we made that long turn to come back to it. Of course, it was gone.
Were they popping on top of the water, or were they just kind of swimming and flipping around?
It looked like they were just rippling the water enough where you could see them, but nothing was actually jumping out of the water.
Gotcha.
Just like millions of them. I was like, damn. Yeah, like JR said, if I could have thrown a net in the middle of that, I'm sure I could have got something, but I'm not no net thrower.
That sounds like, what do you call those things? Glass minnows?
Glass minnows, I believe exactly what I think. Either that or grass shad.
But sometimes those menhaden will be so thick, like, and they're dumb. Like, they'll just, the pods of bait will just kind of just like run into your boat. They'll just be out there in these, they'll look like clouds in the water, and they'll just like, you'll just drift right over them. Yeah, you can throw the net. You'll get all you want, man. Even if you throw in tacos, you're still going to get all you want.
Yep. I think my biggest challenge right now is going to be catching something and not knowing what the hell it is. Yeah, if I catch it and it's alive and I want to catch a shark, it's going on a hook. So now,
basically, all I ever did was, if I caught pogies, you know, I would troll them slow, you know. But
what are you calling pogie? A menhaden?
Menhaden, yeah.
Peanut bunker, whatever. There's like a million names for them. But yeah, you know, most of the time I try to troll those if I were king fishing, you know, couple miles an hour. You know, if I'm using live bait for mahi, I would go up to 6, 7, maybe 8 at the most. Mm-hmm. And any other than that, I was high speed trolling for wahoo.
Now, what was Pete? What was that? Did you caught that? We were trying to catch when you was catching that grouper, and we were using live bait every now and then. We caught one. What was that?
What kind of live bait that was?
Yeah,
we call them tomtates. Well, there's two actually. There's tomtates, and then there's small little beeliners.
Beeliners. Yeah. Beeliners. That's what it was.
So, what do you think with Lowrance, you know, Humbird, Ray Marine,
Garmin,
all these
Garmin,
all the technology with? I mean, are you still old school, Pete? Are you still kind of?
I am still definitely old school, just because, you know, I live by the philosophy of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know,
right?
a lot of my fishing is all about location versus trying to find something per se, if that makes sense. So it's not like trying to mark fish, it's trying to find good water and bait.
I imagine there are some guys that are trying, that do incorporate that into their how they target whatever it is they're fishing for. And I bet a grouper and yellowfin on these wrecks, coming over schools of, like, imagine what a school of like juvenile yellowfin would look like on a 3D imaging. That's got to be a sight.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, like when you're going out, like say for instance, I'm gonna be going out a Little River. Of course, we talked today about the 390s. But like if you're going on out, and I know you say there's like you want a lot of people looking for what they call blue water.
Yeah.
When that water goes from green to blue, is that real? Do you want
to
concentrate on that?
Generally speaking, it doesn't really go. There's usually not a very hard break between green and blue. You do find a hard break between, say, nasty ass mud to green, but not the other way around usually. But you just go, the way I generally know when I'm in good blue water is if you look back behind the boat and you see the dang bubbles in the blue water right there in the prop wash, kind of, you see the clarity back there. You're like, that's blue water right there. But also what gives it away is you start seeing flying fish take off. When you see flyers, you know you're in blue water.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. You have these different stages of blue. Like,
yeah,
it's blue water at the tower, but if you get on out there, another 20 miles, it's even more blue.
And it could be the opposite way too. It could be nice blue water in the tower. You go out there further offshore and it turns nasty, silty, you name it,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I never experienced that.
Really have. Now, I'll tell you this, in my experience of fishing near shore, the tower area, if you get real blue water, like so blue that you can see the bottom, the fish sucks.
I would imagine so, yeah, because it's less nutrients for one thing.
Less nutrients, and the fish can study your bait a lot better than two.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, you don't want that green nasty water, but you don't want that.
So that would be a good time to go. Right, that would be a good time to dive, though. If you wanted to dive and check out the structure of the tower underneath which you might not ever want to stay in that tower if you ever do that.
Dang right, yeah.
Yeah, me and JR's gonna try it Friday and Saturday, Pete. We'll let you know how we do. Just stay. If you don't see no videos, or if you don't see us post nothing by 7 or 8 o'clock Friday or Saturday, you'll know, well, the boys didn't catch shit.
Yeah, well, we'll also know you ain't pushing that button on the dang radio, so
Oh.
Listen, all right, Chris Brown. Listen, it was not on the radio. It was on the PLB itself.
Oh, okay, the EPIRB, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought Chris Brown was slow.
So, just a FYI, you may or may not know this, but you are allowed to test your unit, but it must be done the first 5 minutes of every hour.
I didn't know. Are you talking about on the PLB?
Yes, anything.
Oh.
First 5 minutes every hour, you're allowed to test it.
Really? Well, mine said here's what's weird. When I tested it at the house here, it said test complete. You have 19 left.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but
and I did that, and then when I tried to test it out there, the son of a bitch sent a distress signal 4 times, not once. Todd Asher said, he said, when you send those distress signals, you know what comes over their radio, don't you? And I said, what? He said, it's a little recording that says, help me, help me.
If you had your radio on, you know they're looking for you.
Like Scott Perry said, the perfect storm. For whatever reason, the radio blew a fuse on the way out. The only reason I got that EPIRB out to test it just to make sure, because that was the only thing we had out there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But there again, it was a learning experience. It worked. And it's amazing.
Now you know, yeah.
And it's amazing, though, that if you ever do need that somebody will come when you mash that button.
Yep.
And once you mash it, you can't take it back. You can't not unsend it. It's sent.
Yeah.
Kind of like a text message.
Yeah. But yeah, just know that if you want to test, there actually is a legal test period, and it's the first 5 minutes.
5 minutes of every hour. You heard of that, guys? First 5 minutes of every hour, Wes.
Well, I ain't messing with it no more. If I ever have to use it again, it will be an emergency.
Wes, Scott, what time is it? 12:04.
That's right.
That's messed up.
That was funny. That video that Scott made making fun of you. That was hilarious. He was showing the button. I want to push it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I want to push it. No, I'm not.
No, he actually wasn't making fun of me. He was making fun of Chris Brown.
Oh.
No, I think he was making fun of you.
No, he was doing the radio because Chris Brown thought that we hit the button on the radio. That's why he kept saying radio. It was on the EPIRB or the PLB. Chris Brown kept saying, "Don't watch the little red button when you push it on the radio." And the whole bottom of the line of the story was, we didn't have a fucking radio. Couldn't have mashed it on the radio anyway. You know, and everybody has seen this story. And then Chris Brown kept commenting something about the radio, pushing the red button on the radio. So that's why Scott Perry made the video about the red button on the radio.
Gotcha.
Okay. So do you target the in the fall the Kings out of Southport Oak Island area?
Sir, that's so this time of year, and excuse my language here, but this time of year I say fuck a king because they're small. Yeah, for the most part, they're small. They're a little more scattered. But come late September and October, it's game on, Kings only. So, and yeah, this is my official invite. I know it's early, but you guys are more welcome to come with me on these King trips out there that time of year. I will be off the last week of September and probably the first 2 weeks of October, and I'll probably be there the whole entire time. So,
well, I mean, I'll come, but it's it might cost you a little bit.
Okay. If you want a big king, that is your best time of year, hands down. And
that would be an amazing video.
The later in October tends to be a little better.
Scott Perry's on here. The Perry Master. Hey, Pete, my tower come from my boat today. So Scott offered to come over and help me tomorrow, which I thought was amazing because most of my friends always want to help, but then they claim that they got to work. So
that's funny.
But Scott Perry's gonna come over and help me put a hard top on it tomorrow.
So what are you naming your boats? Remember that crafty name you heard on the radio some time ago when we were fishing that one time? You like almost steal that name. Do you remember it? Do you remember?
Yeah, the Shady Grady. The Shady Grady.
The Shady Grady. That's right.
Shady Grady. Yeah. Scott mentioned that. He mentioned that the other day. Yeah. I like that. The Shady Grady.
Shady Grady.
Well, hey, Wes, I tell you what, why don't you wait until about 3 o'clock to start on that, and I'll come help you too. We'll just jump on it.
Well, JR, believe it or not, we're gonna get it together. It's still in the box. Perry made that statement, why don't you go ahead and get it together? And then he thought I was gonna put all that shit together, and he's just gonna come help me set it on the boat and mark holes.
Right.
Well, that's not happening. So anyway, if you want to, hope if we can get it together, it actually probably take 2 people, one on the front, one on the back to hold it.
Yeah.
And I can get down there and mark the holes, where
right.
we're going to drill, because you only get one shot at this. And if you drill one hole wrong, you're screwed.
What's that Eminem song? You only get one shit. Never mind. So yeah, when I get off at 2:30, man, I can make a beeline. I can be there by, what am I, an hour from you?
Yeah.
I can be there by 3:30.
Well, come on. JC Crowder will probably be here doing my radio then too. He's got where I put my VHF on the side, it goes up and down. Of course, now when I put the tower on it, the antenna is not going to go all the way up. So he's going to splice that wire for me, so I don't have to run a whole new wire.
That's cool. That's going to be cool. Have you seen another adventure, Grady, with that hard top on it?
I've seen 2. And
they look pretty good.
Look good. Yes.
They look good. Oh yeah, you getting it because you want it to be sexy. That's right.
Hey, and then listen,
he wants those extra rod holders. That's what it is.
Exactly. I was fixing to say I got a place to run a shotgun rod now.
Hey, can you stand on it?
Yeah, that's pretty solid. It's
hey, Peter, it ain't gonna be 3 months. Wes will be standing on that son gun, kite fishing with no wind, using helium.
So I'm gonna
some goes about JR, man. You want to go fishing with me this weekend? It's only going to cost $18,000.
I'm gonna go by the contrary. He's gonna go out there and take an absolute ass whooping because he ain't checked the weather, and that damn thing's gonna fucking fall apart.
Oh no, brother! I've been watching fish weather all week just to be.
Did you say you're going this weekend? This Friday, Saturday?
right now, Friday's looking pretty good. It's okay. Saturday's
I hope you got a damn mouth guard, because from what I just looked just now. Now this is my area in Southport.
I've got a $400 mouth guard, brother.
Ooh,
you
Wes
better
ain't playing around now, Peter.
You better wear a damn mouth guard, because it looks like you better get your damn bones rattled on Saturday for sure.
What did I just say? It went in this ear and out this ear. I said, right now, Friday's looking good right now. Saturday's sucking.
Yeah. Now, in all seriousness, I think there's a big king tournament going on this weekend. Actually, I know there is one going on this weekend.
Out of Little River.
So you might see a little crowd out there.
Hey, Wes, what is Lori doing, dude?
Oh, she's in the bedroom.
Yeah, I know, right?
Lori, what are you doing over there?
Oh. She's in the hallway. I thought she was in there watching a movie.
I just came back in.
Okay.
But yeah, Saturday's not looking too good. Friday's looking okay.
Yeah.
Saturday's
it's like 5 days out.
good.
This is going to change anyways, but yeah.
So what's tomorrow looking like for you, Pete?
Tomorrow is looking flat ass calm, so I'm kind of excited. Actually, there was an update a couple hours ago, and I was actually worried because it was showing it to kind of kick up in the afternoon, but now it's showing flat calm all day tomorrow, so we're stoked.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Scott said, West and the weather don't matter. He says it's good every day.
Yeah.
That's
retired life.
What's up?
Shark bait. I will be there Saturday, like back pain.
So you guys love shark fishing. I don't know if you know this, Wes, but some of your best shark baits by far are fish that we can't stand to catch. Number one, those bonita.
Little tunnies. Yep. Bonitas.
No doubt. And number two, very, very overlooked, barracuda. Sharks love a damn barracuda.
Really?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Are barracudas like good to eat though? Or
They say they are, but I mean, you throw that dang thing in the fish box, and that fish box will stink for weeks.
really? Yeah. We never kept one.
Yeah.
When I lived in South Florida, and they did it for about 2 years that I know of before they got caught. There was a couple of restaurants down there selling quote sea trout, and it was barracuda. Barracuda is sea trout.
Texture-wise, it actually looks the same. So yeah, that actually don't surprise me.
Wow.
Sure was.
Now, I think when it comes to sharks, I think it's kind of like catfish, you know. I think that most guys that target, sharks, they don't want to catch the smaller ones. Just like us, most of us catfishermen, we really don't care a whole lot about catching the smaller ones most of the time, most of us. I think that they're after the trophy sharks.
Yeah, I mean, I had never really thought a whole lot about shark fishing until that one smoked me down there in Islamorada. And he told me that was a spinner shark, and it run twice as fast as that tarpon did. I said, hell yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, once you get above a few hundred pounds, man, it doesn't matter what it's going to be so hard to get in, man.
Well, I don't want nothing 200 pounds, but a 6 or 7, 8 foot spinner shark, I'd like to catch them all day.
So we catch our fair share of sharks in the fall while, fishing for kings. We catch a few here and there, a lot of times you're fishing the beach. So, no secret. Some of your bigger kings in the fall are caught on the beach, like within shouting range of the people there on the beach. And a lot of times you're trolling, and all of a sudden you get a reel that starts screaming. You're like, yes, this is the man right here, So he then pulls off 300 yards. You're like, oh, hell yeah, this is the one, And you chase him down. You go all serious, excited, and this and that. And he comes up, dang, 20 minutes later, it's a damn big-ass shark on the beach.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, when they're a bycatch, yeah, they can definitely disappoint you.
Yep.
Now, I would like to. Now, if you brought it in and it happened to be a great white,
yeah,
that might be something to cool.
Yeah.
I've never caught a great white before.
I was talking to me and Kevin Blue was talking today, and here's my thing. I go to Tennessee. We catch striper because they're fast, they're quick. But what am I going to do with a 40, 45 pound, 50 pound striper? I'm going to try to catch him and release him. I'm not going to eat him. I'm not going to do a damn thing with him but try to catch him. So what's the difference if I go to the ocean and try to catch a 40 or 50 or 80 or 100 pound shark? I want to fight. I'm going to cut the damn leader and let him go.
What? I don't know. If it's one of the sharks that don't piss through their skin and is really like good table fare, like your black tips and Makos, and I think I'd keep it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a tiger or a great white or a shark that does urinate through its skin, and the meat's going to be, have a lot of ammonia in it, then yeah, I ain't going to keep it. But some of those fish are good eating, man. Like if you ever had black tip, they're actually pretty good. They're like a pork chop.
Yeah, they are very good, but also be careful because there are some sharks that are banned to be kept. I think tiger sharks and great whites, of course, you're not allowed to keep them, no possession whatsoever. So,
Oh, really?
it comes down to the point where are you pretty familiar with sharks? Because if you want to keep it, you got to make sure you know what you got. And of course, tiger sharks, everyone knows what they do. But
I thought, actually, I'm an idiot because I thought that you could keep like one tiger shark.
And I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I think tiger
It's
sharks on the ban list as far as
my
keeping
cousin
them.
wanted to keep one time, and I remember like looking it up. I googled it. Let me re-Google that right quick.
Mike Bradford said, "Kill them all unless it's a mako." What makes a mako so great? A shark's a shark. Is a shark.
And to answer James there, no, I don't specifically target spades. I mean, I know that, I have in the past with the whole jelly ball and dropping a jelly ball at the bottom and cutting some up and everything. But I personally, I don't care for spade fish. I don't even think they're as good as people think, eating wise, really.
Damn, James. Anthony Johnson's on here. Let's see. Perry said, "You don't answer me. Your gift is gone." What did you ask, Perry? You said if it ain't pelagic, it don't count. Anthony Johnson said, "We lie, baby. Sharks." Oh, hey, J.R. Scott said sharks are the blue fish, are the blue catfish of the ocean.
I don't know. According to North Carolina Saltwater Fishing Tournament, award given for live release of fish 80 inches or longer. So I mean, they're definitely proud of they're protected or whatever. The tiger shark. That's the North Carolina environmentalquality.com. Trying to find the regulations to see what the if there's like a size or krill limit for them.
Y'all just changed y'all's regulations on flounder. Did you see that?
Yep.
No more commercial fishing for flounders. Not out of North Carolina. Is that just if you're fishing out of North Carolina?
Yep, that's NC only, I do believe.
And everybody goes to their phones.
Yeah, I'm looking at the shark thing right now.
Okay, it's unlawful to possess great hammerhead, scallop hammerhead, smooth hammerhead, or oceanic white-tip shark while in possession of tunas, billfish, or swordfish. That's a
While
weird
in possession
regulation.
of, what does that mean?
That's a weird regulation. Yeah, I guess like while you're in possession, if you got tuna and billfish or swordfish in your boat, can't have no great hammerheads or scallop hammerheads or smooth hammerheads or oceanic white tips in there.
What?
That's a weird regulation, ain't it?
That don't even sound right, does it?
Uh-huh. No, it don't.
Hold on a minute. Why are you just standing up? You want to sit down?
That's not seeing you tonight. I'm just enjoying it.
What'd you find, Pete?
I'm looking. I'm actually downloading this Fish Rules app because I might need it for tomorrow. It's been a while. I should say updating it.
You don't want to name your dog Shark. You don't want to name your dog Shark.
Yeah. Lori said you do not want to name your dog Shark. Especially when you're on the beach calling your dog.
Yeah.
So I have rode the beach back home before, and like you see a bunch of people swimming, and then you point and yell "shark." That's the funniest thing ever. Just do it one day. You might get a good laugh.
Oh, you did that? That sounds like some shit I'd do. And then go to jail for it.
Yeah, this is requiring too much of a deep dive to try to find this. So yeah, I'm gonna give up on that.
Scott Perry said, "Fuck them all. Just keep them. They don't check nothing."
But that's that. You want to talk about some publicity? Come rolling up to the boat ramp with a 1,000+ pound, 12, 14 foot tiger shark, tail wrapped, dragging it behind you. Yeah, you're gonna be famous.
All right, I have found it. Shark, one per person, 54 inches or bigger.
Tiger.
Yes, tiger.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I thought. That's weird though, because I'm like you. You think you catch a 1,000-pound majestic beast of a tiger shark. I mean, you would think that they would be some pretty strict regulations on a fish like that, but apparently not. Apparently, you're allowed to
There's
keep
another one here that might be confusing at all. Let's see. Yeah, there's a few. Like I said, if you're familiar with sharks, there's some that you can't keep. Let's see here, for example, bull sharks you can keep. I agree with. There's too many of them out there. But I'll say this from my years of fishing out there, and someone said fuck a shark, and I agree 100%.
Hey, Shannon.
There is no doubt there's more sharks out there in the last 5-6 years. Like in the summertime, it's almost impossible to fish out there offshore in the stream and get your tuna or whatever in because, the sharks are out there. It's just every trip you lose fish because of sharks.
How many times did we get shark? We only got shark once or twice, didn't we?
I'm not confident if we did get sharked. I thought I got sharked once, but that ended up pulling the hook on my big fish, whatever it was. But yeah, I don't think we did.
They should convert all these pay ponds to saltwater and start harvesting these sharks.
Yeah.
Hey, I got something I want to talk about for a minute while Mike Bradford's on here. Mike told me, he said, I need to try this once. He said that Mike's going to book us a charter out of Venice, I think around the end of July. End of August, I think he said, is chasing shrimp boats. And he sent me a couple of videos of how you get behind. Now, the way Mike said it was, I've heard people say you want to get behind them when they've got the nets out. But Mike said they chase them when they're doing the bycatch, like when they slide their boards out and you see these big holes in the side of the boat, and you can give them $20 or a couple of packs of cigarettes, whatever the Chinese want, or Vietnamese or Chinese or some kind of E's on there. I'm not sure what they are, but and they'll take all the bycatch and just push it off the side, and then you just troll behind them. But how many boats do that? If everybody knows to do that, you've got one shrimp boat and 50 people out there fishing. What do you do? Just try to get in there behind them before somebody else does? How does that work?
So out of Oak Island, if you're shark fishing behind a shrimp boat, it's actually these guys are very, very meticulous. Now, number one, let me say this, that not a lot of people want to fish for sharks in my neck of the woods. Like the only guys shark fishing are charters that have someone wanting to target sharks or slow or just someone wanting to have a little fun. But for the most part, people are going offshore doing whatever else. But it's actually very meticulous. Like it's a team effort. The guys jump on the radio. I've seen 4 or 5 boats on one shrimp boat before, and they all talk on the radio saying, I'm going up to it. Y'all hang back. So they go up there. Oh, I see 5, 6 sharks. They're up top, or dropping down 20. They all communicate. So one boat goes there, hits in the idle, drops baits, and they float back. And then the next boat hopscotches there. They drop baits, go back. So it's actually they have a pretty good system out there when they do
Sounds
that.
like Tennessee when they go up, fish the dam and then drift back, and then they take turns.
Yeah.
What if you got a boat that you can't get to the front of, cast off of? How do you do it? Turn the boat around?
You don't need to go to the front of the cast. Just go there and just drop bait straight down.
Just straight down.
Sharks are stupid like a damn catfish, man. They'll eat whatever they see. Especially,
damn, they are.
Yeah. Especially you got someone shoveling all that damn crap on the side of the boat. These fish are in a feeding frenzy. I'm sure you've seen videos of these feeding frenzy sharks. All you got to do is put it. You put a hot dog on there, you probably catch one.
I don't know. They can't be that dumb. They've never had to worry about going extinct, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess some species are protected.
Scott Perry said in Venice, he said most of the people in Venice don't have teeth. So they're only out for a few hours anyway before they go in to drink dinner.
So I think down in Venice, they actually, talking to a few folks that do fish out there, I think a lot of guys will actually go behind shrimp boats and chunk bait for yellowfin tuna out there.
That's exactly what Bradford said they do.
Yeah.
So how far will tuna, like the yellowfin and the blackfin, how close will they come in shore off of South Carolina and North Carolina?
In the fall, it's not unheard of to catch a few. So we'll catch a few. I can't say I personally every year catch some, but I have caught some before as close as 8 miles. I even caught sailfish 8 miles out. So I'm gonna tell you right now, Wes, those numbers I gave you to that spot that I'm telling you about, wink, wink.
The one you just texted me yesterday.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've caught sailfish there. There's sailfish there. You can catch them there at the right time.
Wow.
But
That's
and
awesome.
again, I stressed the right time with live bait. And I think last year, as a matter of fact, I want to say it was early summer last year. There was a very hot sailfish bite going on there for a 3 or 4 day window where every damn boat was catching sailfish there. And then the next
Really?
blow came and that messed everything up. But yeah, no, you catch them 8-10 miles inshore sometimes, the blackfin sailfish, but you got to really have good weather, like a very stable weather for a long time for them to push in. And then the moment you get a dang blow that pops in, they're gone. So yeah, they'll come in shore, especially in the fall. Fall is big time for variety usually.
Never had the pleasure of battling with a sailfish. I bet that would be awesome.
Yeah, and like anything else, you're out there trolling for kings in some of these places I'm telling you about, 8 miles out, and you get one nail it, and then you scream 300 yards of line. You're like, oh, this is the damn man right here. And
Exactly. Could you imagine like the older, guys, just think, 30 years ago, they're trolling for these fish, catching them on friggin' pin, like the senators, like,
Huh?
the small spelt drag washers and the like the 3-to-1 ratio speed. Could you imagine catching a sailfish with a 3-to-1 ratio reel?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I guess it's that's when you're fighting a sailfish, I imagine you probably would eventually drop it down to the lower gear, for the power.
No.
But I think
Well,
we're
actually,
spoiled.
So keep in mind also, for the most part, the sailfish that I have seen around here, the ones closer to shore, they're not big, 25, 40 pounds. You might get a bigger one here and there, but 25, 40 pound fish, not necessarily huge. Doesn't take a lot of gear to catch them overall, but they'll jump and hop and skip like any other fish out there. But I'd say the 8 or 10 I've caught over the years, biggest one might have gone 50 pounds. I'd say by 5 to 8 minutes boat side, and with 20-pound king gear. So it's really not that much of a fight, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
with you.
well, you have to hold them up, right? Or do you keep those in the water? Or
You can hold them up. I don't know. There's a new law out now that says that technically you can't take them out the water, but I think I've been on a 3 or 4 year sailfish slump right now, so I haven't caught one in a while.
You have to get somebody to take the fin and like pull it back,
Yeah.
so the fin's nice and like erect
Yeah.
for the picture.
Yeah.
Sailfish to me, and this is just my opinion from what I've seen about them, and I've watched some videos of people catching them. They're more fin than they are body.
Yeah, that's correct. They're very lean and slender.
Yeah.
Kind of changing subject slightly, but Keith Wood actually he caught, I want to say, a white marlin 15 miles out last year, so they will show up too.
Wow. Well, back to the fin, Wes. It's about like a striper, all fin.
You crazy. Well, JR, now you still on for Friday and Saturday, right?
Well, I put in for Monday. It's kind of. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, Wes. I'm gonna walk into my supervisor's office, okay, and I'm gonna video it. I'm gonna hold my phone out and I'm gonna.
That's not. I don't do that because you can go in there before and say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this video," so you go along with what I say.
Oh God, I'll do it live. Whatever you want me to do. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get my supervisor. I'm gonna let you talk to my supervisor live. I'm gonna hold my phone
up. And then you're gonna say, "Wait a minute, hey, I'm gonna do a live video, so just go along with it," and then go live.
Oh,
I planned this trip around you. How'd that sound?
Well, I put in for the vacation as soon as you told me.
Well, you didn't tell me there was a chance you wasn't gonna get it.
I got refused.
Damn.
The mandatory Saturdays kill me, man. That's one thing about my job. It sucks. Gotta have
Save your vacation for October. Wink, wink.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can schedule when I first get my vacation. I can schedule throughout the year, and they base it on seniority. I got a better chance of getting it that way. But if I don't know ahead of time, it's hard Even if it's like if you give me a couple of weeks notice, usually it's, especially this time of year, it's kind of hard to get.
But let me guess. I bet you didn't have no damn trouble getting off for our trip to the James River, did you?
Actually, I got that Thursday
Uh-oh.
and that Friday off, and I actually
Uh-huh.
got refused for the Friday. And he actually came back to me like 3 days later and said, "Hey, somebody backed out, and I was able to give it to you." And I was like, "Awesome!"
Dang.
I lucked up on that one.
Well, like I said, I don't know what you got worked out with your supervisor. I don't need to see no live video. I don't need to see no video. I just need to see you at Cricket Cove Marina at
Cricket Cove
5:30
Marina
Friday morning.
at 5:30 Friday morning. Okay,
5:30. And listen, all you got
I'm
to
gonna
do
try
is
to make it
step
happen,
on the
Wes.
boat. All you got to do is step on the boat and we're going fishing. How much better can it get now?
It doesn't get now. I mean, we need to talk about how much I'm going to charge you to make a video.
Oh boy.
Well, let's talk about how much I'm going to charge you for gas and boarding.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you know,
break even.
you're probably still going to owe me several hundred even after all that. So.
Well, listen, last time you did a video for me, we never did get it. I mean, you threatened to kill me and Jeff.
No. Last time I made a pretty good. Last couple of times, the Kobe video, a couple striper videos.
Awesome. Those videos were really awesome.
Hey, speaking of video, Wes, whatever happened on the video from our trip?
You have to talk to JR about that one.
I don't have it yet. I'm going to get it, Peter.
Work in progress. All right, no worries.
Hold on to it, Wes. I'm going to get it. I promise.
All right.
Just making sure that he ain't skipping out on it. There you go. All right.
No. I'm gonna make it happen. I promise you. As long as Wes holds on to it, I got you.
Well, I got you on. Let me ask you a question about these plugs, because I'm trying to take all this shit, this saltwater stuff in, and I'm trying to get it, trying to get all of it down, because talking about it, watching videos is all good till you actually get out there on the water and start trying to do this stuff, and it changes. But like for this particular lure right here, right?
Yeah.
If I'm coming off of my rod, I can put my coast lock sinker right there and troll it, right?
Just put it straight on a swivel. Don't even put a sinker on there.
No, I mean on my coast lock swivel.
Coast lock swivel.
Sinker.
Yeah.
Coast lock swivel. Just hook my swivel in there.
Yeah. Yep. Clip it on and go to work.
Now, what's a good speed to troll this? Anywhere from 3 to 6 knots?
I actually like about 5 to even up to 8 sometimes with those bad boys. But here's the key with them. You want to put them out there as far as possible, because usually those cedar plugs, when you got them close to the boat, you won't do much. But you want to, if you think you got it way out there, it's probably not way out there enough. You want it out there a good little ways.
I think most guys do shotgun them, but there are people that run them close. You know, they'll catch fish. They really catch fish anywhere you put them, but I think most people tend to run them shotgun.
Let me tell y'all this little story right here. Y'all gonna love this. There's something else I've done, but we learn from our mistakes. You see this lure?
Yeah.
Okay, Scott was rigging some stuff up, and I handed him I think I handed him that bonita, the Yozuri bonita.
Mm-hmm.
And he put it out, and we're trolling it. We've been trolling it for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And
he didn't put the plastic off the hook.
And I didn't take the plastic off the hook.
I've done that. I've done that before.
It's
a Guggen thing.
It's a whole new learning experience for me. I really do appreciate Peter. Scott Perry. Me and Scott Perry went down to Beaufort 2 weeks ago. Never been down there before. I think we caught one manta ray, or whatever you call that thing, Marora. What do you call it? It's got the suction cup on it.
Remora.
Yeah. But hey, we had a good time. I found another spot, kind of worked my way around, know where the boat ramps are. So it's just going to be a total new experience. Like it was when I was learning how to striper fish.
Did that remora like suction itself to your boat?
Yeah, Scott got him to do it to the floor, and I had to take a damn spatula and get that son of a bitch loose.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Wes, let me tell you this. So was that remora, was he swimming on top of the water when he caught him, or were he down the bottom, or he's trolling when he caught him?
He caught him on a planer board, and hell, I said, well, I don't see how we didn't drown that son of a bitch, because I know Scott kept looking. He said, I believe there's a fish on there, and when he pulled it up, it was on a planer. So I don't know however deep that 3-pound planer board, 3-inch planer board, and we were going about 5 miles an hour. So
gotcha. So let me tell you this. Normally, If you catch a remora or you see a remora or something,
Sharks around.
generally there's something big around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be a big stingray or a dang manta ray, or it could be a big ass shark, but there's generally something big around if you're seeing a remora.
Now, what do they do? Do they try to suck the blood out of other fish, or they just
No,
like
they're just getting that bacteria and whatever garbage off the backs of these fish. So they're basically getting a free meal riding them.
Oh, so they're just like hitchhikers.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Well,
But
Wes,
yeah, out there bottom fishing a lot of times. We're out there fishing 100 foot of water, and all of a sudden we bring a remora up. We're like, oh crap, who's it gonna be? Which four of you guys gonna hook this dang shark right here and get spooled or break him off and re-rig, because that normally exactly what that means there.
So like when I'm shark fishing, I can just drift, say like have a bait, just kind of put it out on the bottom, let it pull off the bottom, and then stagger the other two.
I honestly don't think like out there, let's say you're a few miles off the beach. I think you're better off like drifting a bait than actually putting on the bottom, because I mean, these sharks, they're not on the bottom all the time. Like a dang stinking ass catfish, they ain't on the bottom all the time. He's going to be up there suspended feeding, kind of swimming around. I'd say most of the sharks, you put a chum bag out there, he's going to be coming up to it every time. So I would suspend baits and probably, you put one on the bottom, yeah, sure, but you run the good risk of catching a stingray while on the bottom as well. And there's a lot of them damn things out there.
Like catching a car hood, ain't it?
Yeah. You got a stingray because he's going to make one long run, and then normally it's going to seem like you're snagging the bottom because you'll sit in the bottom and just kind of suction cup down there, and you won't be able to move them.
Might as well cut your line and keep going.
Well, I'm glad you decided to come on the show again tonight, Peter, because me and Wes are we're pretty limited on our saltwater knowledge, but it's so much stuff to learn. And I mean, even you as well versed as you are, it's still a learning process. I don't think anybody ever actually like learns everything about saltwater fishing.
As I say, every trip is always a learning experience, whether it's saltwater or even the damn lake, all the time, So, yep.
You have to get up at 12:30. You got a trip going out in the morning, so
yeah, get up at 12:30, 12:45. Got the boys rolling in at 1 a.m. and we're gone.
So
I'm all packed up, so it's literally wake up, brew coffee, and out the door. So. And let's only not forget the bait I got in the freezer right now.
You got your ballyhoo all rigged up?
I do not, actually. I do not have any rigged up. I was kind of on the fence about what to do because, the forecast looking a little rough to where, it kind of depends. Like this time of year, you get a lot of grass that comes in. And so if there's a lot of scattered grass, I probably won't troll ballyhoo. I'll troll cigar minnows because it seems to do a little better, And I'm actually targeting mahi and kings right now versus the other stuff out there because I'm a little too close inshore now.
Now, how do you troll a cigar minnow? Just put a hook up between his, and then just throw him out there and just.
You gotta get those dang dead bait rigs, and basically you got a jig head in the front and then a treble on a wire in the back, and you got to put that first hook through the lips or through the skull, basically.
Now these baits right here, like some of the I've got that. What do you call it? The daisy chain. For dolphin. Now on the end of that one, can I put strips of? Can I put a cigar minnow on it or
no? Well, I say you can't, but no, because normally, like with anything in front of the cigar minnow, like it will spin. It'll helicopter in the water. You could possibly get away with it with a small daisy chain, but like a chugger, for example, no, you can't. A jet head. You can probably do it, but I like to downsize a little bit. I'm actually trolling 1.5 ounce stuff versus the bigger stuff. And I'm actually trolling slower also. Instead of going 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5 knots, I'm now doing probably no more than 3, 3.5.
Cool. Well, it's 10 after, guys. It's been a good show.
JR's always ready to go.
Well, I try to be respectful, and
how's that been respectful? Somebody wants to go to bed, hell, they just quit watching. Now, so you getting up at 1 p.m.
He's trying to be respectful to you. You say you're an old man, you got to go to bed now. It's past your bedtime, 9 o'clock.
I feel like hell. I had a long day.
I bet. Yeah, I'm up early, but I'm pretty wired right now, so I'm good to go. I'm used to these dang late nights, honestly.
the hardest night to sleep is the night before you go fishing, because you're laying there thinking, am I going to do this, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, and then you get out there. And
Remember what I say. The fishing trips that have the least pressure are generally better trips. So I'm going out there with no pressure at all. Like you didn't run a charter or a guided trip, man, you're pressured to catch fish, you know. But now fishing with friends. I got one friend that really wants to catch a mahi tomorrow. So I mean, we catch one, great. If not, be all right. But otherwise, I mean, I know for a fact if I can get out there to this spot, you know, weather pending, we're going to load up on bottom fish. I mean, these are like my primo numbers that we're going to tomorrow. So it's literally a one-stop shop. I can probably fish a half-mile area all day tomorrow.
Well, you know, you had another boy. I heard that you had a guy hooked up with a massive, I mean, a smoking wahoo. And for whatever reason, I think you had mono leader on there or something, and he lost it. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah.
Listen, we're sitting there on the boat, and I've told this story. I'm up behind the helm, just sitting there, and I thought I heard a little knock, and I
he won't live it down. He won't live it down.
And I looked up at the rod, and I heard a little knock, and then I leaned back forward. By the time I leaned back forward, dude, it sounded like that thing literally hooked up to a Porsche. It's just great. And everybody on the boat hollered wahoo. Now you talking about quick? I grabbed that rod. I'm making sure wasn't nobody getting their damn hands on it for me. So I'm sitting there holding the rod, and it's just smoking, dude. At least 100 yards of line. That in a matter of seconds, and then all of a sudden it just stopped.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know if I told my side of the story, you know, with all that, but we were, me and Caden were actually in the front of the boat. You know, the music was dang jamming. You know, we're having a good time. We're in the front of the boat, actually getting a count on the mahi we had in the front. So time we had no idea how many we had, and that fish box is loaded, as you know. And we're counting them out, and you know, we're going, and all of a sudden we hear a "Pow!" You know, the outrigger clip pop, and you know when you hear the pop, you're like.
So it was on an outrigger.
Good fish usually.
Was it like on the middle or the?
It was on the far outside.
Okay, so it was like past the wake.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, so we hear that, you know, from the front of the boat, music jamming. You know, normally if you're sitting in the back of the boat, you can actually barely hear it sometimes. But if it's a fish that hits with force, you literally hear like a damn shotgun blast sometimes. Pow! And then it took off right after that. We're like, oh shit, that's a real one right there. And lo and behold, he's out there grabbing the rod and, you know, Bill dancing his ass. No, I'm just kidding about that part, but yeah,
he may not have gotten hooked up had he not, you know, had the mono. So.
Yeah,
well,
that's the way
it goes. It's fishing. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, people, you have a safe trip tomorrow, buddy.
Good night.
All right, guys. Good night.
See you.
See you guys next week.
Next Tuesday.